you very much for joining. So this is Thailand. I'm Valerie Mackenzie. Sawadee ka.
I'm Johan Wimonchalau, Swadee Krap.
And I'm Tapani Manawet, สวัสดีค่ะ
Many of you would have noticed that in Thailand, our kids get up very early in the morning, and I mean really early. School starts early, but it doesn't finish early, it finishes late. And that's 5 days a week. Then on top of that, you've got the extra Saturday where they have to go for their private studies and the like. Don't you think the hours for children here in Thailand going to school from a very young age is too long?
Well,
I seem to recall when I went to Thai school, I used to have to get up at 5 in the morning. We'd leave home at 5:40, spend a really long time in the car, and usually you'd have to have breakfast in the car. And then, you arrive at school around 6:30 or so, very early.
6:37, and at 7:30 then you start the lessons, and then you have the breaks, but you don't finish until 3:34, or you take that extra 1 hour for private tuition with the rest of the class.
Right, you have to have extra classes always at the end
Exactly.
of the day.
So it's like 6 o'clock before you get home, and then you've still got homework, and you've still got your meal to have a shower. There's no time in my mind for the kids here to be kids.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, it seems there's so much pressure being put on them, to excel, to do well, to get those grades, and it's just a much different system here. They're much more focused on those particular areas, like you have to choose, you need sciences or math at a very young age.
But you know that when I actually switched systems and we lived abroad for a while, everyone was so amazed. Wow, you know how to learn the piano. Oh, you know how to do this too, and you know how to tap dance, and you know how to. I don't anymore. But, I used to when I was a kid, and it's amazing to foreigners actually that I think that you lay down the groundwork and you try to see what you like, and then
I think all the extracurricular activities are okay because that's the choice. One likes to go horse riding, one likes to go tap dancing, one likes music, and some parents like to bring it all in together so that the kids have a full day, and that's fine if they're enjoying it. But I guess from my perspective, it's the Monday to Friday. It's that on average the kid has to be at school at 7. The traffic in Thailand, particularly Bangkok, is horrible. So to be getting up at 5, it's too early in my mind. And this is, as I say, from kindergarten level. So I don't know what we're going to do about it, but I worry that the youngsters today are going to get burnt out really at a lot younger age.
Yeah, it's a very long day.
And it doesn't get any shorter as they get older. Moving right along, the talk of the town.
Well, talk of the town today is something that a lot of foreigners here and Thais, you've probably experienced it one time or the other. When you visit a Buddhist temple, you're usually greeted by a wall of incense smoke. Now, while this is for the making merit and part of the ritual, as it were, a recent study by the Ministry of Public Health has determined that, guess what? That smoke is indeed hazardous for your health. It contains high levels. At some point, some of them are 53 times higher than the recommended safety standards. And they specifically chose or picked out 3 chemicals, one being, benzene, the other one butadiene, and the last one benzopyrene. So all of them not sounding very good.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's very strong, and we're led to believe, well, we don't even think about it, is it safe or is it not safe? But some of the temples that you go into, particularly the Chinese temples, I might add, and not only in Thailand but around the world, particularly in Asia, I mean, it's overwhelming sometimes. It really is over the top. So you need to go to the temples, but you need perhaps to be a bit more careful, come out and get some fresh air on a regular basis.
Well, especially the shrines that are very popular. You see people sticking, the masses of gel sticks in, and it creates a lot of smoke. But you know that there are smokeless incense sticks now. The gel sticks, you can get them where they're smokeless. But I was actually looking at this the other day, and I thought, well, if the smoke doesn't waft up, how are the spirits going to know? And I didn't get them in the end. So I don't know if they're going to be popular.
Can you find out the answer for us for next day's program?
Well, next time I'm in a temple, I'm going to actually ask a monk.
I'll do that.
Right, the next story is from the Royal Thai Police, who have signed a joint agreement with the United Nations Development Programme, the Foundation for AIDS Rights, and the Departments of Rights Protection of Ministry of Justice. And this is a joint partnership to reduce the stigma against HIV/AIDS and to reduce discrimination against HIV/AIDS as well. Now, this training will help 10,000 junior Thai police officers to become a resource and a helping hand for people living with HIV/AIDS and to become a key to helping these affected people. It's been in discussions for a long time and developed in joint cooperation by the team. So this is a really, really great thing.
What's surprising is, you look at the history of HIV and AIDS in the world and how many years people have identified it, and there still is a stigma. People are still uneducated about what it is, how it's transmitted, and what the proper treatments are for it. So,
and that's not always at the grassroots level, in the country levels. That's also at the high end. It's like if somebody in the family of a middle, upper class, wealthy family contracts AIDS, it's like, oh, look, I think maybe they should go overseas and have some treatment there. We shouldn't have them around us. That doesn't help the situation. So even though there's been some great education programs here in Thailand, I guess I suggest that we need more educational programs.
Well, moving right along, you can get almost everything you need at a 7-Eleven, including paying your bills. And now you can get tickets to access all of Thailand's national parks. So the ministry has reported that starting very soon, I believe it's on October 1st, they will start having tickets for all 148 national parks throughout the country. You can buy tickets there, which is a great benefit because, number one, they can actually control the number of people coming in. They'll be able to track the number of visitors. They'll also be able to make sure that the proper amount of the fee is correct and being collected and going towards where it's supposed to be at. And they can also expect, if I know this weekend we have a certain amount of people showing up, and they can prepare the staff for it and make sure that all the places are there.
The question is, though, do I walk in and say I'm a Thai and I'm taking 5 people to the national park? Please, the National Park Association, come back to us. I don't identify whether these people are Thai or foreigners. So I actually pay for 5 Thais. What happens when I get there and I've got 2 foreigners? We need to check that out for you as expats living here. If you can get in cheaper, that's good, but the country needs your money anyway. But seriously, that's an area we need to address because it should be that you also, as expats, can go in to buy your tickets. Be it that you pay more is not the issue, but the fact that you can actually do that and not be hit again when you actually get to the national park.
Actually, one quick correction, I misspoke myself. It's actually November when it will start. And one thing to be aware of, eventually they will phase out buying tickets at the parks themselves. So you need to be prepared ahead of time and buy those tickets in advance. They will be expanding it to internet and to other electronic means, so there will be other avenues of getting those tickets. But we will cover this and maintain the news on it.
So in other words, if I go to the park and I don't have a ticket, I can't get in?
Can't get in. No ticket, no ride.
I understand.
But wait,
I understand that on a ride, not going to a national park, man. This is amazing.
But there must be a ticket collector there collecting those tickets who, could potentially sell you a ticket if you didn't have one?
Exactly.
Not legally.
This is a bit like the story, if I can digress for a moment. I don't know whether you read the story about the car park attendant in the UK. And for 23 years, he actually stood at a gate near a train station. And he took money in for every car that came in over 23 years. Then one day he was there no longer. And they thought, I wonder why he's not here. So a couple of curious people rang the municipal council and said, where is he? And they said, we have never had anybody on that car parking area. That's a free parking area. The story goes that this man has been collecting for 23 years. He now is a very rich man living in the south of Spain.
Wow.
I did hear about that. That was absolutely
unbelievable
amazing.
story.
And people they were so shy. They didn't want to confront him and be like, are you supposed to be here?
Yes,
so they
exactly.
just assumed
Just
they
paid
were.
the money.
And
exactly.
he had a uniform on. So
He got millions over 23 years. So
So maybe this
National parks, here you
initiative
go.
will prevent against people getting a uniform and then going to sell tickets.
You didn't have a uniform even. You used to wear different clothes every day. Just the money belt, just the money belt.
Okay, a very big money belt.
Oh, exactly.
Okay, well, the last story for today is actually some great news. It's the development of underwater condos. And the 200 kilometers along the southern provinces of Narathiwat and Pattani used to be a very rich source of fish and provided for the livelihood of 150 fishermen and their family members who are living around there. They of course got depleted over time, and with the use of trawling nets and the changes in the ecological and marine environment meant that less fish were living there, and the fishermen had to go further to go fishing. And what happened was the fisheries department 2 years ago surveyed the seabed and found that it was very flat and not very inviting for fish and coral to live. So what they did was they made artificial coral comprised of old army tanks, old railroad trains, old garbage trucks, and placed them on the seabed. Now, 2 years on, the sea condos have come alive. It's a great place for fish and marine animals and coral to live, and the catch has increased by 20%. So very good news, and very beautiful to see as well. Over time, sea objects have attached themselves onto these strange condos, and yeah, it's making a huge impact on the marine environment there.
Super, isn't it? Because we were talking the other day about the coral being bleached,
Yeah.
and to know that at least the fish are surviving, and under those circumstances, great concept. Maybe other countries around the world can do the same. There's some countries around the Mediterranean that have a lot of tanks available. Maybe you could put them under the Mediterranean Sea.
Well, it's a creative solution. I don't know why they didn't make something more, coral shaped.
Yeah.
It's a train, it's underwater, it looks weird. But anyway, it's good news.
Thank you. So moving right along, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to be talking to the charge d'affaires of the French embassy here in Thailand. Now, they have a beautiful home, the French ambassador, on the river, on Charoen Krung Road, on New Road as it's called. Once every year, on the 16th of September, they have an open house. It is the most beautiful house. It is right on the river, so old, so well looked after, and it's there for you to see. So we're going to take a sneak preview and hope to see you guys there on Sunday. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.